so today I'm doing another Chinese New Year recipe. It's Buddha's Delight. I'm sure that you guys have all seen it at the Chinese restaurants before, but it's sort of like a main dish for vegetarians. It's super hearty. Usually there's a bunch of tofu and mushrooms and bean curd and a ton of other vegetables, so it's absolutely yummy. And this dish is also eaten on the first day of Chinese New Year. It's kind of good luck and fortuitous that way to, I guess, not eat any meat on the first day of Chinese New Year. So before I start the recipe, I thought I would quickly go through each of the ingredients for you guys. So in case if you guys do decide to make it, you can go to the Chinese grocery store and find these ingredients. There's a ton of different ingredients that people can put in. These were just what I typically grew up with and what I ate. So the first one, bean curd sticks. So you guys might have had it in hot pot before. It's kind of like thin layers of tofu. They make different versions of it. Some are really soft and some are more hearty, and this one's going to be the more hearty version. The second thing you might not have seen before, it is black fungus or wood ear mushrooms, and these are dehydrated. These guys actually, if you've ever had like seaweed before, it's like really crunchy seaweed in that texture. There's not too much flavor with them. Third thing, shiitake mushrooms. You guys have seen them before. Make sure to get the dried version and then rehydrate it because the flavor is a lot more intense that way. The fourth item is going to be tofu puffs. Basically, they're tofu that has been deep fried, so the outside coating is more crunchy and it's a little bit drier in texture. A good tip is to boil them in boiling water before you use them to get rid of kind of that layer of oily film, which sometimes it can pick up. Next is red fermented bean curd. You guys have probably never seen this before and it's hard to describe. Some people call it tofu cheese because the texture kind of starts melting into your mouth like blue cheese. I would say that the flavor of this is sort of like a deep, mature, developed, red, winey-ish flavor, and it's something where people either hate it or like it, but even if you don't like it, if you put it into kind of the backdrop, the foundation of some food, just like red wine, it can kind of elevate it and make the taste a little bit more deep, a little bit more rich that way. Next are wheat gluten puffs. Now these guys come in a can. They are sweetened and flavored already, and it makes the dish kind of a little bit more meaty, adds a little bit of texture to it. And the texture of these, I would say, is more spongy than it is meaty, but it's I like the flavor a lot. And then the last thing is baby corn. I'm sure that you guys know this already. It's in all vegetable stir fry and whatnot, and it's basically corn that's harvested earlier, so everything is nice and soft. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the introduction, so let's head on over to the recipe. Okay, so I'm just going to start with the bean curd sticks, and they come in a package like this, all nice and dried, and I'm going to take about 4 sticks of that, and then just to put it in a container. I have 4 to 6 shiitake mushrooms, and then these are the black fungus mushrooms, so about a 1/4 cup of the black fungus mushrooms. So now I am just soaking everything, so make sure you have a big enough container, make sure that everything is submerged. If possible, from time to time, try to kind of push some of these guys in just to, again, make sure that they are submerged and that they get to absorb all of the water that they need. So it's going to be about 4 hours, or you can even do that overnight. I'm taking the reserve mushrooms from the shiitake mushrooms. Totally, I want about a cup of liquid, so you can add the rest with water. And then I'm going to add about 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, and then also 2 teaspoons of mirin. And if you don't have mirin, you can use rice wine and then a little bit of sugar. So just mix all of that together. And then the shiitake mushrooms get a little bit of a separate preparation, so 2 teaspoons of mirin and then 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. And I'm just going to mix that all together. I think I found that to be the mushrooms to be a little bit big, so you kind of want to either cut it into halves, which you can see the mushrooms better, so sometimes it's prettier for presentation, or you can kind of quarter them so that it's easier to eat afterwards. So I'm using the same pair of kitchen shears to cut up my bean curd sticks, and I'm kind of cutting them up into kind of 2-inch long pieces, but you can see some parts at the end are actually still hard, and those parts tend to never get soft. So what I do is I cut them off and then I just discard them. So only take the parts that are soft enough to eat. Okay, so time for cooking. This kind of comes together fairly quickly. It's a little bit like stir fry. So I have 3 slices of ginger in about 2 tablespoons of oil, and then a tablespoon of garlic goes in. And then this is the fermented red bean curd. That will kind of melt into a sauce and thicken it up as well because it's kind of cheesy and it melts nicely. In go the shiitake mushrooms. So I'm at about probably medium-high heat right now, medium-high heat. And you just want to cook that for about 30 seconds or so just to get some nice flavor in there. And then these are actually the rehydrated black fungus mushrooms. So they've grown a lot in size and they'll add a nice crunch to the Buddha Delight afterwards. These are the bean curd sticks, so in they go, and again, about 30 seconds for each item to go in. This is a can of drained baby corn, so again, it will provide some nice crunch and also a little bit of sweetness to this whole dish. Afterwards, this is the fried wheat gluten, and it comes in a can like this, and there's some sweet kind of sauce that it's in, so I drained a majority of that out, and it's more kind of like a spongy meat substitute than anything, but it might be strange for some people first. But very traditionally, it's in these types of meals because there is no meat, so we've been using that as a meat substitute for a while. So these are tofu puffs. Again, I'm going to recommend that you guys actually boil the tofu puffs first because it does have a tendency to be oily, and by boiling it also rehydrates the tofu puffs a little bit. I just kind of decided to do it the quicker way, but I definitely recommend boiling them for about 2 minutes first. So this is that cup of shiitake mushroom liquid, water, and then also cornstarch. So these are soaked mung bean noodles, just one portion of those, and mung bean noodles are kind of a little bit more gelatinous and squishy than your rice noodles, so they kind of go really well into like stews or things that have been cooked a long time, and they'll also absorb some of that liquid that's on the bottom. So that goes in, and then in here I have about 2 cups of cabbage that I've shredded. And this is also the point where if you wanted to put in different types of vegetables, like some shredded carrots or some pea pods that'll add some nice color to it, you add it in here and then just kind of wait until they soften. I'd say simmering this about 15 minutes, just until all of the flavors have a chance to mesh together and then everything is softened. This is basically it. Again, you can add more colors and more vegetables to this if you wanted to. This is kind of the way that I had it growing up. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this recipe. I know most of you have probably seen this on the menu of a Chinese restaurant at one time or another, and I hope that you do get a chance to visit an Asian grocery store and maybe pick up some of these ingredients. Like, try to make it even though you don't have all of them, and you can substitute, vegetables that you would want to do in time for Chinese New Year, which again is January 28th this year. As usual, guys, if you want to see more recipes like this and you like what you're seeing, remember to hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you guys again next time. Bye!